Hi guys, my name is Bando, this is Breakfast with Bando, and this is part 1 of the Battle of Rophen 9 series. You may have watched the last episode, which was a bit of a filler episode, just had my Space Wolves in it. This is the first proper update, and has updates from everyone taking part, and we've got lots of stuff to show you. Some of it we go over pretty quickly, some of it's a bit more in depth, but everybody's now sent us through a test miniature, so we can see the kind of colour schemes we're dealing with, the basing schemes, that sort of thing, and how people are really approaching this project. Some of them are going really aggressive into it, and they want to do lots of batch painting, which is understandable when you're painting large numbers of models. Others are taking a bit more time doing individual models, and the quality of paint jobs is all over the place. So you get to see, it's not, all one thing. You've got some really high quality stuff in there, you've got some beginner stuff in there. This is for everyone. So let's take a look at what everyone's been working on, and I hope you guys enjoy. So these are my Space Wolves. This is what I've got so far. I have put together 3 units. My HQ, which is an esoterist, an apothecary section with 3 apothecaries with jump packs, and a 10-man assault squad. Now, the assault squad is what I'll start with because it's the biggest unit. These are made from Mark II Space Marines. They're obviously recast. You can't buy Mark II Space Marines anymore. And I'll be honest, Forge World's Mark II Marines, by the end of their life, were not the greatest quality. Even in legitimate ones, you will find things like casting imperfections. Probably one of the most famous is the fact that they have like a giant chunk missing out of the foot of one of the sets of legs. To scale, it would be about the size of a tennis ball on a person, and it's there in all of them, in loads of them. I'd completely forgotten about it until I started painting these guys, and then I found it again. I went and checked my legitimate Forge World Mark II stuff, which I've got a couple of squads of, and they were there as well. So I have painted these using a TT Combat paint called Admiralty Grey. It's a nice mid-tone grey. It's about like a Mechanicum Standard Grey. It's a little bit lighter. And then I gave it a coat of Rattling Grime. Now, I don't particularly use contrast paints that much. I'm not a big fan of them. But I've decided I'm going to try and use them a bit more in this project. Usually with each project I like to try and use something new, do something new, something I've not done before. A technique or a product. So I'm going to try and use them. I've got a couple of contrast paints I've got that I've used in the past. I'm going to try and use a bit more. So what I did is I mixed it up with a little bit of technical contrast medium and a little bit of water, because it's too dark on its own. It's almost black, which, that's fine, that's what it's there for. But I watered it down, and I went over just so you can see the brown tone in it a bit more. Once that was done, I then dry brushed the model with Admiralty Grey again, and that's where it's at with my grey. If I need to make any touch-ups, I can just use straight Admiralty Grey, no problem whatsoever. If I want to add shade, I can use the Rattling Grime again. It's a nice, easy scheme to replicate, and it's something I can do quickly. Then the brown was painted with TT Combat's Trench Mud, which is a desaturated brown, and then I gave it a coat of Skeleton Horde contrast paint. And actually I've done the same for the wolf fur. That's got Skeleton Horde on it as well, and then a dry brush of TT Combat's Tech Ceramic over it. That's just a bone colour. So, with these guys, I've built them up with lots of pouches, grenades, wolfy bits, When you buy the Grey Slayers kit, you get some extra bits. When you buy the Death Swan kit, you get some wolfy bits. So I've been mixing those in with these guys. I also sculpted my own wolf pelts on there. I also sculpted some necklaces. I made necklaces from both green stuff and from braided copper wire. I literally just braided it together, made a loop, stuck it in around the neck, posed it, super glue. To give these guys a sense of momentum, movement. You know, there's lots of little rattly fetishes, and necklaces, and tooths and claws and stuff on them. Now, unfortunately, sculpting things like the teeth for the necklaces was a bit beyond me. I'm not that good with green stuff. I tried it in a couple of places. Some of them look okay, some of them look a bit bad. I'll do it again on the other squad, but it's not something I'm going to go crazy with. I mixed in a couple of bear heads from different kits. I've got some of the bear Forge World heads, then the heads from the Grey Hunters set, or Grey Hunters, Grey Stalkers, I'm not sure what the Forge World one's called, and then a couple of Fenrisian axes which came from, I believe, the Death Swan kit. The squad is... it's an assault squad. I don't know really what else much to say about it. Probably most proud of the sergeant. I like his pose, and I think the use of Tarujas and the helmet give a kind of nice balance between the overly Fenrisian stylings and also a tie back to more Legion heraldry. After that, it's probably the grenade guy. I think he's just an interesting static pose. I'm going to add a chainsaw to his base. And yeah, after that, it's probably going to be the guy with the rune hanging off his arm, because his necklace just looks really cool the way it's kind of flying out. It kind of just sort of, it gives a nice sense of movement to me. So after that, I've got the Death Swan, and by Death Swan I mean my apothecaries, which basically are just Death Swan with bolt pistol, chainsword, and jump packs. These guys are nice. They're like, it's a bit like the Iron Hand Immortals. They're nice models, and you can use them as a basis to convert other models in your Legion. These guys are just Mark III armor with lots of wolfy bits on them. So they're good for conversions. The heads and arms are separate. They're not, you haven't got any that are really annoying in kind of a fixed pose or anything like that. Like the head or half an arm stuck on them like you might get with a plastic kit. And these guys, they followed the same thing. Greys, browns, all done the same. The only difference is they're wearing wolf masks, so they got just some dry brush stuff on there. And that will get washed and dry brushed and washed and dry brushed to get a nice blend and contrast on there. I will paint the shoulder pad. One shoulder pad will be painted white, and that will signify that they are apothecaries. And then lastly, the Esoterist, I took the legs off of one of the Death Swan, very carefully using my hobby saw. I cut the guy in half. I stuck the torso from the Grey Hunters pack on there. I took one of the Grey Hunters axes, took the head off, and replaced it with the head from a plastic Thunderhammer. I wanted a Thunderhammer that was more like, Marvel's Thor's Mjolnir, quite a small hammer, which I think fits the aesthetic a bit better than a great big two-handed thing, and I think fits better for an assault marine. It's going to be something he's going to be able to wield in close combat. So faces have only really had a couple of coats of things like browns, and the contrast paint they haven't really been worked on at all. It's going to be something I enjoy doing. I like, the different flesh tones I can bring up there. And then, getting some gold in there, and then the red markings, the detailing, any other metallics, to tie all the units together. And then I'm going to I need to order some bases for them. Base-wise, I've decided I'm going to go for like a tech-themed base. Probably like a desert theme. I think what we're going to do here for the setting of my army is these guys are raiding. If you watch the first video, you'll see in the fluff that I wrote in there that there's something like there's a equatorial train, like a train, massive cargo train that constantly rides around the planet taking cargo over it. Well, these guys, they hit it when it's in a desert area, and they're boarding this train as it races along to do a high-speed like heist to grab their ammunition that they're after, you know, grab all their heavy weapon supplies, and then get out of there before, you know, enemy reinforcements can arrive. So I'm going to do like a techie base with lots of heavy, dusty weathering, and I think the deserty base will contrast nicely against the grey of the Space Wolves, but it's not just the very traditional Prospero style bases, which I wanted to avoid. So I'm trying to figure out, find some nice resin bases that have got some good panelling on them. I don't particularly want something like Sector Mechanicus that's lots of little like dips and divots and sort of sheets. I want something that looks like more like the Necromunda bases, maybe. I might even use the Necromunda bases. So let's take a look at the stuff from the other guys. So I'm going to start with one of my favourites, which is Kenny. Kenny always goes hard. Kenny's doing a two-part army. He's doing Thousand Suns and he's doing Night Lords. So we'll start with his Thousand Suns, which are lovely. There's lots of printed parts in here, some what look like Tortuga parts. And he has this lovely candy red. And he's got some really interesting use of parts from the 40k Thousand Suns. Lots of 3D printed bits. Some really nasty layer lines, but that's okay, you know. Sometimes it happens. And he's got a lot of white in there, a lot of black in certain areas, and I think it looks really, really nice. Good mixture of armour marks as well. His tabard work could use a little work, but you know, it's nothing major. The walking guy, who's just sort of got his bolter held down low, I think is definitely my favourite. I've always liked that. I've always been a fan of kind of the medium, the norm, the average looking character. You know, a model that's not trying to be heroic. Something that's, this is just a dude in the middle of an army. And I think he's got that really well with this guy. He does just look like a legionary. And that's not meant in any way as an insult or a slight or anything. It literally is just, this guy is so great at depicting what is supposed to be a common soldier, and I like it. The bases are really good, they're really nicely weathered. He's got this really cool rotor cannon guy. Has actually inspired me. I want to get some rotor cannon guys myself. I like the look of that. And he's got a really cool bionic leg on there as well, which you don't see too often with Thousand Suns. They don't generally, they're not a legion you would particularly associate with bionics. He's also included a couple of his Night Lords, discussing at the moment just how he intends to paint his Night Lords. Kenny has actually been on the channel before, a long time ago, with his fantastic tutorial on how to de-chaosify Night Lords, or de-chaosify Chaos Space Marines, which he then uses for his Night Lords. Big fan of Kenny's work, really am. He needs to do more artwork though, because that he does some really great artwork and hasn't done some in a little while. So this is a great start. Some great test minis, great start thing. Some of the guys have done very loads. Kenny's kind of in the middle here. Some people have only done like their one test model. This really only was to have people do at least get a test model out. So some guys are going faster, some guys are going slower. We've got a couple of guys who are going to be indisposed. So don't judge people on what they've managed to accomplish so far. I'm happy with what everyone's done. So let's take a look at the next one. So the next up is Doc, and Doc is also doing Space Wolves, and he's got this lovely gritty light grey with a really nice dark kind of oily metallic. and I really like these guys. They look savage, they look, you know, battle hardened, and yeah, if you zoom in really close, they're a little bit messy here and there, but you look at them even from the zoom out of the image, the regular image on its own, they just look really good. And that's the thing with painting, what you're doing is tricking the eye, and these guys look like, from the tabletop, they're going to be a really impressive looking army. It's gone for a nice little sort of snowy-ish base, which is cool. Rophen 9 has sort of biomes all over the place, from equatorial jungles to blasted wasteland deserts. It's got frozen mountains, it's got underwater, you know, refineries, it's got paradise islands. So anything that these guys want to do for their settings is possible on this, you know, in this project. So docks work, nice couple of guys, an HQ and a bolter guy. I like them. Definitely looking forward to seeing how he progresses with these guys. And yeah, I just think, you know, it's great that Space Wolves have got a really good representation here. Now next up I've got Mitch. Mitch has gone hard because Mitch has done 2 full squads already. Actually, I think he may have done more. I think he's done 3 squads maybe. He's done at least 2 squads of Ultramarines, a heavy weapons squad and a tactical squad, and they look beautiful. Mitch has been knocking it out of the park recently with his Ultramarines. They're very, very good. The blue is really popping. It's really vibrant, really deep. It's a really nice saturated blue, and it pops really well against the sort of dusty orange bases he's got. The only thing I'd say about them is that the bases are a little plain. They just need a little bit of something in them to break them up a bit. But, you know, if you're fighting on a blasted plain, even then, you're going to have some variation in the terrain. But these look great. They look absolutely fantastic. Maybe needed a few more decals on them, but, you know, sometimes it can be hard to get decals, you know. If you can't afford to buy, like, Forge World decal sheets, you know, you're kind of limited to those ones that come in the boxes, and there's not many in them sometimes. He's got a really cool looking las cannon squad. They've even got the red weapon casing on them, that nice throwback to the sort of 2nd edition red era, which I love. And he's used a lot of the new Mark IIIs, lots of gold trim, really doing the boys from Calth a solid. And he's also got, I think it's a Malcador, which looks really cool. I think he's doing an attached solar auxilia section. So yeah, really cool for that. You know, he's gone for a nice simple scheme for it. Looks like it's just a base coat and then a wash and then a slight like highlight, but a lot of weathering. It's a nice tank. It's definitely one I want to get my hands on eventually. All I've got for them is a Dracosan at the moment, but this, yeah, looks really, really cool. And if he keeps it up, which, you know, he won't keep this up because he's off on holiday, but yeah, he's Mitch has come a long way in the last couple of months, and it's looking, you know, really fantastic. So yeah, next one. So next up is my good friend Gojira. Now, Gojira's been a supporter of the channel for a long time. We like Gojira around here, and he's done these really nice metallic-y blue, kind of Night Lords like looking tech thralls for his Mechanicum. And as a unit, taking a step back, they look really stunning. The metallic blue is really Mechanicum. You know, it's that oily, slick, kind of weird, futuristic metal look. But then you've got it coupled with the horrible, you know, pallid, wasted flesh of a tech thrall. These guys, absolutely spot on. They're not very big. They are tough to paint because they've got lots of little fiddly bits. And he's got some spot colours in there that look really, really good. Lots of red and green. And he's pulled it off without it making it look like a Christmas tree, which is always nice. The basing looks good. You know, you come back, it ties the models together, it makes them look like a unit that's actually moving through the battlefield together. I'm looking forward to how he expands this army. I'm looking forward to seeing what he throws in there. You know, is he going to add some really big, nasty, stompy robots? Are we going to be getting some cool mechs? Is he going to go tank heavy? And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Looking forward to what he does for his HQ as well, because these look good. These are, you know, really nice tabletop standard, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. I just think, you know, he's managed to knock out 10 of them already, which is pretty impressive because these guys have so many parts per model. It's insane just how many parts these guys have for a basic like, I think it's 6 points, only 6 points each model, and they're about 12 pieces each, which is wild. They are, I think they do hold the sort of record for the most number of parts per point value per mini in Games Workshop models. It's crazy. So nice work, great work, Gojira. Really looking forward to seeing how this progresses. So we've got Arab Jinx here now. He is a very active member of the community over on Discord. He's, you know, he likes to get involved in things, and he came up with this idea of some salamanders still encrusted in the fiery storm, like the soot from Istvan. And when he posted up his work in progress models, which were 3D printed models with a lot of sand over them, everyone kind of took a step back and went, I don't know, buddy, I don't think this is going to work. And everyone kind of was in the same agreement that is like, I don't think this is going to come out the way you think it is. I think you've just ruined your models. It kind of looks awful. And he was like, trust the process. And he's dropped some painted models, or a painted model now. And you know what? He's right. We should have trusted the process, because he's got these wonderfully oily, dark, grimy, just battle-worn, filthy salamanders. Now, he's only got the one painted, but that's okay. These guys look like they're going to be going through hell. And he's got 15 Terminators. They're all built, which is great. And yeah, they... yeah, I honestly, I fully expected them to look like garbage. And actually looking at the painted test model, yeah, it's dark, it's grimy, but it's that grim dark. It's a stylized thing, and I personally would probably take the grime back a bit. You know, have the bits of green pop a bit cleaner. But where it is dirty, make it dirty. But these guys, they look good, and I'm fully converted. I'm, you know, really ready to see these guys going forward, and an army of just 15 Salamanders Terminators sounds hilarious to me, and I'm really looking forward to it. So keep it up, keep us updated, and let's see where we go from here. Next up's a bit of a short one. We've only got the one image, and that's it's Kino Arganis, latecomer to the event. New guy over on Discord. Kino decided he wanted to do his Sons of Horus based on the old artwork from Visions of Heresy, where they wore grey and they had the red gloves. And he's done this as their inductee, and they don't have the right to wear the sea green of the rest of the Legion yet. And I like that. It's a great background. They're visually striking. They're still clearly Sons of Horus. And I've always loved those couple of pieces of artwork. There's like 3 or 4 of them in there, in those books. They're some of my favourites. It's actually what inspired me to do my own Sons of Horus, and it's why my veterans have got red gauntlets. So I'm really looking forward to that. He has ruffled some feathers because we're not entirely sure if it's Alpha Legion or Ultramarines, but someone blue is dying on the base, and you know, it's it might be taken personal by someone. So looking forward to seeing where this comes from. So, you know, this is going to be great. Spooky's up next, and he's got a Solar Auxilia soldier for us, and it's this really nice mauve and grey paint scheme with some brilliant glowing optics. There's not much I can say about it. It is just the one model. I like the colour scheme though, it's very striking, and I reckon when the base is finished and you've got a whole squad of them together, it's going to look really cool. Stranger colour schemes like this, they always look a bit weird when you only have one model, but when you get a full squad of them out and they're all based up, something just clicks. And I know how many models it takes to make a Solar Auxiliary army, so I'm hoping he manages to pull it off. It looks great, and I'm really looking forward to these oily looking purple, just Legion. They're going to be cool. So really nice. I'm hoping the base comes out. It looks like he's got some really nasty, like soggy mud kind of base, which is even better. You've got a very nice rich purple being contrasted with the horrible sucking mud conditions. That's always good as well. So yeah, nice. Keep it up. So next up we have got Cilia Sodus. He has a different name in Discord and it always confuses me. It's Vex Slave Girl with Bando. Don't ask, we're like 3 in-jokes in on that one. And he's doing Death Guard, and he's got 3 painted models. A couple of them are printed, and actually you really can't tell they're printed. The quality is fantastic. You have to get in really close on these models to start seeing the print lines. They're a really nice bone white, which you don't see. A lot of people go very kind of warm on their Death Guard, and these guys, they're a nice bone white, very like Death Spectre-ish, with a really nice, like almost bluey green. It's a lovely, lovely shade of green. A good amount of weathering, nothing crazy, and while he's got his 3 test models done, he's also built 3 squads and a Rhino and his HQ. So he's well ahead of everyone, and some people want to do that, some people really want to race ahead. Kind of get the guys to slow down a bit, because we want to make sure you guys see a progression, see how different people make their armies. But if someone wants to race ahead, that's fine. You're still going to have to find something to show for the the monthly updates. So yeah, really nice. Looking forward to them. Want to see how they're going to be based. Very interested to see that. Nice work of OSL around the eyes as well. So that's pretty cool. Last but no means least is Sammy, long-time supporter of the channel, big fan, who is doing the Alpha Legion, expanding his Alpha Legion, and he has gone for the classic metallic blue look. He's using the Turbo Dorks paints, and he's got this lovely shade of blue. I've heard it's pretty hard to work with, but the models themselves, they look fantastic. He's probably not going to be posting up too much with us because congratulations to him, he has just moved house, and that's probably going to take a lot of his time. So yeah, not sure what really to say. They're Alpha Legion. It's early on in the paint job. I know he's using a lot of things like I think they're Anvil Industries Exolords. So yeah, really, really impressed with that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how they look finished. I want to see guys' armies when they're based as well, and I hope we can see some real improvement from this onto next. Sort of next month. So that's it for the update from this month. We're going to do another one soon. We will have some progression, and I'm going to get the guys to do some writing, what they're working on, what their workflow's like, and how they came up with the idea for their army, how they came up with the army list, what considerations do they have to have with the limit of only 1,000 points, what are they looking forward to adding when we expand these armies, because we're going to be expanding them. We're going to be doing some characters, some one-offs, we're going to do things like kill teams. What are they looking forward to doing? Which army so far do they like the look of? So check back, keep watching. There's going to be more. The quality's going to get better because we're going to get to finished models, and let us know what you think. Your feedback to everyone is welcome. Be constructive with your criticism. Don't just look at someone's model and go, that's terrible, because everyone starts somewhere. Everyone progresses at a different rate. So if you want to pick on anyone, you pick on me, because I'm big enough and ugly enough to take it. And if you've got suggestions and constructive criticism, you know, feel free to put it down. As always, I really am thankful to everyone who watches these videos. I'm very thankful to the guys who are taking part in this. And I'm really thankful for everyone who gives us feedback, helps out, supports the channel. If you're still picking up Warhammer stuff, if you're in the UK and you're looking at different models, maybe you want to get into Bolt Action V3, maybe you want to pick up some of these TT combat paints that I use, head on over to Element Games, use code JAM737 and you'll double your reward points. And that's the best way to give something back to the channel, because I get some reward points there as well. It's not just an affiliate link, you guys get something as well as supporting me. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Bye bye.